Let's see how my internet's going to hold up tonight. It did pretty good last week, so we'll see how it's going to do this week. It might act up. Looks like it's already giving me issues. There it goes. It's green now. So let's hope it holds. If you're watching this on playback, you guys are pretty used to hearing me talk about my my internet problems now. So let's see if we got some people coming in. If they got the update. Again, with that stupid change to YouTube. There's no telling. It could affect live streams. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
It could.
It's stupid.
Hey, what's up, guys? Let me take off this picture here. All right. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed about my internet connection. As you know, I have no idea why it does what it does, but looks like it's in yellow and green, and that's pretty good. What's up, everybody?
What is popping?
Oh, my goodness. What a week already. We're not going to talk about Black Lightning tonight because I haven't had a chance to watch the whole episode. I watched most of it.
I haven't watched 1 second of it yet.
Yeah, I don't want to have anybody upset about that. You know, we'll talk about it on Thursday when we come back.
Hashtag triggered.
Yeah, we'll talk about it on Thursday when we come back and talk about all the shows. But it looked good from what I saw of it. I mean, I saw the first like 45 minutes of it. I watched the last 15 minutes when we get done. I can see already the internet may be a problem, so let me go ahead and get my app ready just in case, because I know it's going to be an issue probably. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and swap now because I'm not going to fight. We're not going to start talking, then I'm going to be like, oh, by the way, and then, you know, have to switch over. So give me 1 second, guys. But I got a couple things I also want to update everybody on. So I'll talk about that before we get into our shows. So let's go ahead and switch over here to RIP stream. And we should be good now, I think. Should be good.
Yeah, when we say what's popping, we're referring to Boba Talks.
Yes, it's all about Boba Talks. All about it. Hey, everybody. So, again, in case it lagged out on you guys, we're not going to talk about Black Lightning tonight. I know it came on, but I haven't had a chance to write my notes and watch the last 15 minutes. We'll talk about Black Lightning on Thursday. We do our more, lined out stream where I have everything, like, down on paper. So, today I just have a few little things I want to talk about. So, a couple updates. My Arrow video will be out tomorrow. It's going to cover both episodes. So you guys will get that. So yeah, I'm gonna put both of them in one. I know, but I've got some stuff I want to talk about that I'm glad I waited. So we'll talk about that. It's not gonna be I'm changing up the way I do my reviews anyway. So tomorrow's video is gonna be a little bit different. I also have my Agents video, but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going on. What is up with all the breaks? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going on like a 5-week break. So I have plenty of time to do a video about the last episode. So it's kind of weird.
I've heard it's the Olympics.
Oh, you know what? That's probably right.
The Winter Olympics, yeah.
You are probably right. And Flash is going on break for like 2 or 3 weeks, right?
Which is surprising that Legends is coming back during that. I wonder what their rating is going to be like.
Well, not only that, but Black Lightning is not going off. Like, Black Lightning is going to air like normal, so...
Yeah.
And Arrow, right? Like, Flash is the only show that's taking a break. So.
Arrow's on a break, but I don't know if Arrow's on as long of a break. I know Arrow's not on next week. I'm pretty sure Arrow's not on next week.
Yeah.
They're replaying like episode 10 or something next week. I think they're replaying the mid-season premieres for Arrow and Flash next week.
Oh, okay. Yes, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is definitely worth watching. It's my favorite superhero show right now, period. For everything. I love it. This season's been really good. So, yeah, Flash...
You Marvel shit.
Yeah, exactly. So Flash is going on break. Agents is going on break. Arrow is going on break, but Black Lightning and Legends aren't. Which could be a bad thing because Black Lightning's numbers have been really good. And everybody's kind of excited about Legends coming back. So we'll have to see how that works out. Maybe it's the time period. Maybe that particular time of night, they don't think anything's going to be on. I don't know.
It's just, where are they? They're in Korea?
Yeah, South Korea.
So that's like, what, 3 or 4 hours ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they should be on like midday.
Yeah.
In America.
So that's weird.
My calculator. Or really, I don't know. Can't do it off the top of my head. Yeah, it's not going to be like not prime time. But then again, America sometimes, like the American broadcasting people, will pay like heaps of money to have like the events that Americans are probably going to win gold medals in. They'll make it so they're prime time, so they'll schedule them for ridiculous times. I remember like in the Brazil Olympics, they made like Michael Phelps's races at like 2 a.m. local time in Brazil, so they were on at like 8 or 7 in like at night in America.
That's so weird.
Yeah, they just pay heaps of money. Yeah.
Okay, so 2 questions in the chat. How do I get to Discord? I usually tweet out my Discord about once a week on Twitter, because for some reason, even when I tell the link not to expire, it does. So if you're on my Twitter, just hit me up and I'll send you the link over. Yes, it's Pagey right there above me.
No, this is War Stew. This is War Stew.
Sam says Arrow's time period is killing it. I think Arrow has been completely terrible. I kind of agree. I mean, I don't think Arrow's been like, it's like, if you talk about Arrow's worst time period, I think easily season 4 was the worst. I would say this one is not horrible, but I do think that there's been the villain's been really weak this season, and I think that it's showing. It's so weird because Michael Emerson is such a good actor that I just find it weird that he's having such a hard time with this character, which tells me that obviously it's the writing. So yeah. Monster Hunter stream. Do you guys really want to watch me stream Monster Hunter? I mean, I guess I could. I mean, I said I would if enough people were interested. So I don't know. We'll have to see. You haven't missed anything, Ren. We are just getting started. We've only been on for about 6 minutes, so you haven't really missed anything. So we're going to talk about Supergirl and Flash, particularly Flash, because tonight's episode was bonkers, and so many things happened on the Flash. So it's like the second half of the episode was just, they were throwing everything at the wall. We're going to quickly talk about Supergirl because there are a couple things that I want to mention. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. And I know, Paige, we both have our reviews up for that, our videos up for that. What did you think of Purity being like another screaming character? I mean, did you think that was like, I kind of was like, that's the second one on that show, and like the fifth one we've had. Issue. So
I think if we hadn't had was it Silver Banshee? Is that her name?
Yeah, Silver Banshee.
If we hadn't had Silver Banshee back in season 1, then I don't think it would have been, as like, oh, here we go again.
Right.
But saying that like it's Silver Banshee, then we had Laurel's Black Canary, Black Siren, then Dinah Drake as well. This makes it the 5th screaming character.
Right.
And just a bit like, could have been something else. And this is a made up character, isn't it, Purity?
Yeah.
Purity and Pestilence are made up.
They're both made up for the show. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you could have made something else. Like,
I thought at first that it was going to be like a mental, like a telepathy thing. Like she was blasting them with like,
it was almost like she had like, she looked like she was doing what like Professor X does in Logan.
Yeah.
Like that's what it looked like.
And I was hoping that's what it was going to be, because I'm thinking this is different. We really haven't had something like that. I mean, the closest thing to that would be Psy, but hers wasn't the same, really. So I was kind of let down, but it looks like she also has like a level of like strength, and she can fly and all that stuff. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
There's a rumor going around. I love these rumors that Lena is the 3rd world killer.
Someone tweeted at me today because like, oh, Lena's adopted.
Yeah. But wasn't she's half Luthor though? So obviously not. But
yeah. So yeah. I just wonder if they're gonna. Because really, Purity just got brought. It wasn't like, oh, they teased Purity. Like, we saw her, like, the first time we saw her, she stepped in front of that car, and you could tell she was a world killer straight away. There's no, like, teasing of it.
Right.
At least for her. So I wonder if they're going to tease the 3rd one, or she's just going to rock up like Purity did.
Yeah.
At the end of whatever episode it was.
Well, her name is Pestilence, so I'm going to assume her power has something to do with disease, maybe, or infecting people. Something along those lines. I mean, it seems like it's going to have, it's going to be something, an offshoot of the name of her power, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't think they've even cast the 3rd character yet. I mean, they have so much time to film. I mean, I haven't heard anything about them casting.
how do we know that the character's not already on the show?
Exactly. That's another thing I was thinking
Yeah.
about. Yes. See,
Just trying to
Sue,
think of the top
Sue
two
says
things.
is Imra's sister Pestilence, and that's one of the rumors is that she is. But how could she be her sister unless she's adopted? I mean, that would be the only way that could work. Ben says I got a bad feeling that Ruby really is the last world killer. That's a lot of people have said that though. I mean, that's not out of the ordinary. I mean, they could do that, right? I mean,
I think that was last week's theory. I think that theory's so last week, but yeah, it comes in the adoption thing. Like Samantha gave birth to Ruby, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, like when she was really young. So I don't know if that would work that much.
It says plot twist: Eliza is the last world killer. No, it could be any. I mean, I'm assuming that it'll either be someone we've already met previously, or it's going to be a brand new person that they cast. One thing that I was kind of confused about was so Kara is having visions of the world killers, which is still not explained. We don't know why that's happening. But why is it that some of them...
It would...
Go ahead.
I'll let you finish.
No, say what you're going to say.
I was going to say... I'll say it connects back to episode 1. Remember she has those... no, that was Rain, wasn't it? Was that...
Yeah, Kara... Yeah, Rain and Kara were both having, like, dreams. But Kara was dreaming of her mother and Mon-El, and Rain was dreaming of that evil lady who created her, whatever.
Yeah, but it looked like Kara's mom, and then it turned around and it was like what Rain looks like in the
comics. They did say they were connected. And I've always thought that the connection was that, and this is just going way out there, probably, fan theories and speculations are usually better than what the show actually does. But the connection I thought was that they used DNA from the House of El to create these things, which is why Kara is seeing that. But... I mean, that could be what it is. But the other thing I was saying is the vision she's getting, Purity didn't have a mask on, but Rain still had a mask on. Why would that be? Why would one have a mask on and the other not? I mean, it's just weird to me that
the only thing I can think of is that the plan of the people behind the world killers, they need Samantha to continue her normal life or at least have a public persona. But with Purity, they don't really need her to. Because
she wasn't anybody... Well, I hate to say this, it sounds so bad. She wasn't of any significance in the big scheme of things.
She was like some musician or something.
Right, whereas Samantha is part of L Corp. So, I mean, that kind of makes sense. All right, so just a couple things. The fake wedding between... Let's say fake wedding. The arranged marriage between... Mon-El and Saturn Girl felt so... I mean, I'm glad that we got an explanation for it, but it also felt like one of those things like they just started arguing in this episode, and then it was like, oh, it was a fake wedding. Because back when we first met her, they were going out on dates together and going out to the alien bar and all this other stuff. And so I'm like, okay, so now they have marital problems? I don't get it. But at least they explained that. I mean, it made sense. I mean, the philosophy behind the ideas of putting people together to ease tensions between warring factions it's not unheard of, So I kind of get that, but I just felt like, I don't know. Did you feel that way? I felt like it was just like, okay, we need to get Caramel back together, so this is what we're going to do. And that's kind of the way I felt about it.
I've always said I think Supergirl has the weakest writing department, and I think this is an example of it. Mm-hmm. Just like really lazy writing just to force something.
They have moments of brilliance where they do some great stuff, but it's not consistent all the way through.
But that's such an inconsistent writing room, which makes... I think all the other shows... like Arrow has its low points, sure, but it's consistently low when it's low. It doesn't randomly have like a spike of, oh, that's awesome. If it's a shit episode, it's a shit episode. Right. It's not going to be a crap episode with one really cool moment. It's going to be either... an average episode with average moments, an awesome episode with awesome moments, or a crap episode with crap moments. Mm-hmm. But Supergirl, I think, is so inconsistent. I want Mon-El gone by the end of the season because I don't see his place on the show. Right. I think it's so forced keeping him on.
What is his point right now? We talked about this. What is his point of being on the show at the moment?
He's so useless. I've never seen a more useless character on a show.
Ragu says, does Lena know about Samantha being Rain since her eyes flickered? I'm assuming that we as viewers are to believe that is the case. Well, maybe that she's not Rain, but that there's definitely something happening with her. But she seemed to be very confident, and I don't know if you felt this way about it, when she said she could help her. It seemed like she was very confident with that. So I have no clue, unless she just means she's going to talk to the DEO. I mean, maybe that's what it's going to be. I have no clue. I'm actually glad that Lena got to do something this week that was not related to James. I was just happy about that. I'm like, oh, look, it's Lena.
James wasn't even in the episode.
Yeah, and when you mentioned in your review that no one noticed, I didn't even think about it till you said something. And I'm like, oh, yeah, he wasn't in the episode. Yeah. But no, I'm happy with Lena just doing her own thing. She doesn't need a love interest. She doesn't need one. So, and Ragu said here, oh, wait, that's the eyes flickered. What was the other one that I read here? Why did Saturn Girl ask if he loves Kara? She reads minds. I don't think that's the case. I think she probably already knew about that, which is part of whatever reason they came back. I have a feeling, and again, we're not going to spend much more time on this, but that them coming back is a combination of things. And I think that they wanted to bring Mon-El back so he could be with her. Maybe because that was part of the plan all along. Like maybe they're like, oh, he's in love with her. Or there could be something in their military where maybe he's a problem and they need to get rid of him. I mean, he's not that good. And that brings me to my last part of this. Is that Mon-El feels like he's been so nerfed. Like, what is going on here? And I actually went back, and I kid you not, today, and watched about a good chunk of season 2 of Supergirl. I can't believe I did this. Season 2, episode 3 is when we first have Mon-El wake up. He moves super fast like a Kryptonian. Like, super fast. Like, you see him in the DEO running fast. He never does that again. We don't ever see him do that. He doesn't even do it now. And then he's also able to take punches and kicks and throws from Kara and never gets knocked out. But now it's like he gets punched by one person with even just a slight bit of strength and he gets knocked out. And then in season 2, episode 17, Mon-El gets controlled by that bounty hunter and he literally punches Supergirl into a truck and he's able to fight multiple people at the same time and take a direct punch from Supergirl without getting moved at all. So what gives? He's been training for 7 years with the Legion, or at least 6, even 5. Even if it's 5 years, he's had all this time of training. He should be better than Supergirl when it comes to combat because she's only been doing this for a couple of years. So completely useless. Okay, let's move on from Supergirl.
What triggers you more, that or Maxwell Law?
That definitely triggers me more. Sam here has got a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Sam. You were always so supportive with your super chat. R.I.P. Becky Sharp. At first she was annoying. Right when she became bearable, she got mind wiped. R.I.P. Wolf. Mechanic will play a part in DeVoe's downfall. All of that, yes. We'll go ahead and talk about... let's see. We're going to jump into all of those. I actually think we're going to talk about all that. Yeah, I've got a couple things here. We'll get into that, Sam. I'm going to go through and start out first with how exciting it was to watch Barry actually use his smarts. Because when I saw him doing things, I'm thinking, is this season 1 Barry coming back? Are we getting, some real deal CSI stuff? What did you think about that? Because I was very excited when I saw that.
Yeah, it just shows you what Barry can do when he doesn't have people in his ear. If that's the best way to put it. When they don't have to down Barry to up other characters. And I've always said this since, even in season 1 they did it. It wasn't to that extent because they still showed Barry doing his CSI work. He still had a job. Or at least a job that we saw. But since season 2 and onwards, Barry's always just been dumbed down. So Cisco, Caitlin, and even this season, Iris and Harry or Wells or whoever it was at the time have something to do on the show or they pop up. And it's really frustrating. Barry, oh, how do I do this? And dude, you should know this easily. Science. You should easily. It's simple science. And even Cisco will point that out.
Right.
So I like Smart Barry. Will we see more Smart Barry after this? Probably not because he's out of prison.
Right. That's another thing. I wasn't expecting that to happen this week. I wasn't expecting him to get out this week.
That's why I thought the end was so insane because so much happened in that last You would say 20, but definitely 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like last 10 minutes, like was it like they squeezed 3 different cliffhangers into the that last 10 minutes. I was like, okay, what the hell's going on here? And also because when Killer Frost and Vibe arrive and Barry's like, no, I'm gonna stay here, I was like, okay, well that's Barry they're gonna keep him in here for another episode or two. But then like literally the next scene he's getting out of prison, which I didn't like that, because I just thought it ruined that moment between Barry like being being that hero, I guess you could say, and not running when and just staying in prison.
Right.
It sort of like brought that moment down, almost made it like redundant. Because the exact next scene he gets out.
Right, but now we know why Neil Sandilands was actually filming again, because he was doing these scenes.
I think we were talking about that in another stream. I was like, someone said he was in Vancouver filming around episode 13 or 14. It's because he was in episode 13.
Somebody brought this up. I think it was True Talk and maybe Ren were talking about this. If you did not watch the beginning teaser before the episode started, where they reminded you about the Weeper, you probably would not have noticed that was what was used at the end of the episode. Because honestly, when I saw it, it took me a minute to think about it. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Okay. So yeah, the Weeper's tears are what DeVoe / Brainstorm / Becky. I'm just going to call him DeVoe, or her DeVoe. So I'm going to say DeVoe was using the Weeper tears on the mechanic. So therefore, it does that euphoric thing, that we're used to seeing with that power. But I honestly feel like they waited so long to do that. If you didn't have that teaser at the beginning, you may not have remembered what that was.
Yeah.
Why didn't you use his speed to save Rebecca? He demonstrated having powers back before the fight. Okay, Robo Russ. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. The reason why Barry did not use his speed is because he still had that dampening anklet on him that they shot at him. Yeah. And I know it was hard to tell because it wasn't very clear on what it was, but it was basically the same thing as the metahuman cuffs, but it was a cuff around his ankle. So I don't know how, it seems like the metahuman dampening stuff is becoming way too common to me. I feel like everyone has this tech now. And honestly, I think maybe one season they should do like a metahuman registration story where all the metahumans have to wear these devices that, that keep them docile.
And it could be by Argus, and it links to that stuff from Legends in the future.
That would be interesting. Yeah, it would be kind of interesting because I feel like it's just like everyone has them now. And I complained about it a couple weeks ago when, the Trickster had those metahuman cuffs, and people were like, oh, well, maybe he got them from the jail they were in and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I just feel like it's just too convenient to me. And, it is what it is. But thank you for the super chat. That's, yeah. Yeah, technically, look, Sam, thank you for the super chat, Sam. Technically, Barry should have been able to dodge it. I agree. I feel like he was still trying to somewhat hide his powers, but you're right. He should have been able to. Again, I guess the warden shot it at Barry because he was trying to set him up to get basically dogpiled by all the other metas. But I don't know. He could have. They had guns there for everybody, and you shoot it at the one person who should have been fast enough to dodge it. What if he would have dodged it? What would they have done then? So, I don't know. It's okay. Wilson, you don't have to donate. I appreciate all donations, but if you're not donating, it's fine. I still appreciate you guys being here. Ren Davis says, to be fair, it makes sense for Iron Heights to have meta dampening technology. They do have to detain metas all the time. Trickster and Prank having... It makes no sense though. Well, yeah, I feel like that they should have it, but my question, okay, so there's a lot of moving parts that leads to this question, but you would have to think that not only would they have to have that technology, but who's supplying it, where are they getting the specs for it, who's maintaining it. There's a lot of things that come into question. They had a metahuman dampening anklet that have we seen that before? I don't think we've seen that before.
Yeah. I think it's just the same one that they would shoot at people's necks.
Yeah, you know what? That's possible. Maybe it's just maybe it's a universal cuff that works on anything that it.
Yeah, it goes around people's arms, necks, and legs.
Yeah, maybe possibly.
I guess.
So, yes, Pagey's here too. Yeah, if he's here, you'll see the Discord thing open. Oliver and Kryptonite Arrow. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happens conveniently. Unfortunately, I'd like for it to make a little bit more sense when it happens, and that's asking a little bit too much sometimes. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Thinker, and then we'll jump. We're going to talk about Caitlyn and Killer Frost because I kind of have an issue with what happened tonight. But so, do you think the Thinker has gone off the deep end officially? I feel like his humanity is gone.
Yeah, I think he's becoming, and I think it's actually what's going to happen on the show. But I think he's becoming a goddamn robot. Essentially, that's like he doesn't have any. It's almost like a sociopath, to be completely honest.
Yeah,
that's basically what he is.
Because the thing was the mechanic that was when she was working with him earlier, she was already getting irritated with him, and we've seen this coming. I mean, this wasn't out of nowhere. You know, there've been issues with them, but I think it really hit her when she saw just how easily he was willing to take the lives of all those people. You know. And
yeah, like you know what I think it is. You know, like how he's transferring from body to body his consciousness. I think it's what it's like every single time he swaps it. Like say when he went to Dominic Lance's and now he's in Becky's body. I think each time he transfers body, he loses a bit of himself.
Yeah.
So let's just say 10% of himself is lost every single time he goes to another person. So I think he'll probably be Becky for like what 2 or 3 episodes. I can't see him being Becky for too long. And probably just enough to use her skill set for whatever he needs to do. By the way, quick question: did Amunet die?
No, she ran away. At the very end.
Away. No, because for some reason, I don't know why it was. I thought they absorbed Amunet because she looked like Amunet Black. Like her hair was back like Amunet, so I thought
after Amunet's power goes off against her will, like the unluck thing or whatever, you see her like it's very brief, like it's almost one frame of her like running away from the scene.
It's almost like Vigilante from the episode of Arrow.
Yeah, it's really brief. Like honestly, I almost didn't catch it, and then I was like, "Oh, did she run away?" Because I didn't see that. You know, Thinker is becoming someone else, something else. Sam, that's too funny, but it's actually true.
I wonder if he's going to get to that AI stage.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Adrian? How are you doing, Adrian? Oh, he said, "Hey guys, great episode," and then the message was retracted. So.
That was the Thinker.
Yeah, he came in and did it.
So I don't know. I wonder if they're going to get to that stage because it wouldn't surprise me. And also, if he has that Kilgore, because did he take all their powers?
Yeah, I think he absorbed all of their powers.
So if he has Kilgore's powers, then he should be able to do it. It should have make it easier to do that. Maybe.
My question is though, look at the powers he has right now. Okay, I mean he's literally he's got Brainstorm's telepathy. He's got Kilgore's technokinesis. He's got Dwarf Star's shrinking powers. He's got Becky's luck powers, which that alone is enough to negate every other ability that you would need with Becky's powers.
Yeah, like look what Becky did. She stopped all those people. She just made things go her way.
Yeah, and then he's got Black Bison's animation power. So how are they going to fight this person? I mean, that's my question. How are they going to fight him? Yeah. Another thing,
it's going to be it's going to be the cerebral inhibitor. I think that's what's going to. It's that's slowly going to make him. A lot of people say, "Oh, the cerebral inhibitor is what officially defeats him." I think if that was the case, it'd be the lamest ending to a season ever. If this piece of technology was what defeated him, it'd be extremely lame.
I'm kind of curious.
I think it's going to help. I think it might split because technically, what he's got inside of him now, all these different personalities, really, because he's taken all them in. So basically what he's got inside of his head now is all these what's he got 7 or 6 split personalities at the moment, but he's in control of them. So what this cerebral inhibitor could do is just separate them, so then it's just DeVoe, and then there's all these metahumans as well.
It's kind of weird though. True Talk says it's sad that the shows are going on break. I agree. We got a month at least, or at least 2 or 3 weeks where we're going to be doing I feel like it's going to be Theory City for the next 2 or 3 weeks, but
oh god,
let's see, how can his body handle all those powers at once without breaking down? I'm not sure, but I'm assuming, this is just me going out on a limb, that with Becky's powers of good luck, there's literally nothing bad that can happen to him at this point. That is what I'm worried about. So yeah, during the break, you guys should really do Altered Carbon. I don't mind doing shows like that, but it's really hard to do reviews of a show that's binged because you can't just do like one episode. But
the whole season.
Yeah, I have been watching it though. Endgame better be good too. R.I.P. Zoom. Remember? Yeah, I mean, overpower is the name of the game when it comes to the bad guys. But when he's got so many powers that are like. Okay, so first of all, it was kind of shocking that what was happening in prison was not part of his plan. He didn't seem... This is the kind of where I started thinking there's something wrong. Because as the thinker, he normally thinks of every possible outcome. He did not predict that at all. And that was weird to me. Because I'm like, okay, he's the thinker. That's his thing.
Yeah, especially saying it involved the bus metahumans.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I found a bit weird.
What about the other
randoms? Barry got somehow involved. I'll be like, okay, sweet, but it involved the people that he created or helped in creating.
Yeah, it says here. What about the other bus metas? Only got 4 of the 12. Well, that's the thing the mechanic said. She said, I thought you were going to wait till you had all of them, and you know, DeVoe is coming for Ralph, right? Yeah, I mean that's kind of what's going on. Again, Ralph. Okay, so. Let's segue into Ralph then. Let's leave DeVoe for a moment and segue into Ralph. I pretty much enjoyed, I would say 90% of this episode. I think the stuff with Barry was good. I think the stuff in prison was interesting. It got a little messy in parts, but the mess sort of worked for me. Ralph's parts, though, however, really bugged me. Because I feel like Ralph needs to see somebody for medication. He really has a depression issue or something. Like... We had 2 weeks where he was like, yes, I'm on top of the world. I'm a superhero, blah, blah, blah. And then this week he's like, well, I'm just not good enough, guys. I'm just not good enough because this one guy I know had a 2-minute conversation with me. Maybe not even 2-minute conversation with me. We never see him. By the way, that was weird because the actor that plays that character is somebody who does a lot of TV shows. And he came in and did that beginning scene. And then that was it. And that was part of the synopsis for the week.
Star Lives. And then the scene in the way Ralph transforms into him.
Right. Which was, I mean, he was there, but it wasn't the same guy. Like, he wasn't playing that character. That was...
his character.
So, it was kind of weird to me that set him on the path. And I know they're trying to make Ralph more relatable. And I see here, someone said they liked Ralph this week. Braden. Yeah, they're trying to make him more relatable. I have to give them credit for that. I think this week was like a different show in terms of tone because the lighter tone, even the lighter moments weren't like last week, which was almost like, I don't even know what to say. Like last week was just ridiculous, but I loved it. But this week was different and it was like, it was darker and they said this was going to be a lighter tone for the season. Well, I have to say what happened with DeVoe and what happened with Barry and stuff like that in prison, that was not a lighter tone at all. So I'm not really sure what was going on with that. But one thing I didn't like about Ralph was not so much that he was able to change skin color, which made me sort of like go, huh? It was the fact that
thing was a bit weird.
He was also changing his voice, and he had never heard the Warden before. So how did he know what the Warden sounded like? That was weird. Like, I get that he can look like other people, but sound like them too? That was a stretch for me. No pun intended.
Yeah,
I don't know. I can't even remember if he could actually change colors in the comics. I know he's changed his face before.
He can change it's just facial change. I don't think. Then again, it's probably never put in a situation where he would have to change the complexion of his skin. Right. So
I heard that Ralph is one of the next metahumans on DeVoe's list, so DeVoe can shapeshift back into his old form again. Yeah, if he got thank you for that donation again, Sam, by the way. So supportive. Thank you so much. Yeah, that would be a way for him to do that, obviously. But at the same time, why would he need to do that? You know what I mean? Like, maybe to make Marlize happy, but other than that, I can't really see a reason. Unless he just wants to look like himself again. But he can literally, if he gets Ralph's powers, he can look like anybody he wants. Maybe he wants to absorb all these powers, including Barry's, and look like Barry. Maybe he wants to live as Barry Allen and be that character, which is sort of what Eobard Thawne in the comics tried to do, to look like Barry. So it's kind of a combination of that, I guess. Okay, so Shinigami says your voice box is different shape than others. I get that, but was he changing his insides too? Because he can't see that. And they made it very clear that he could change into what he could see. So being able to change into someone is different than appearance.
It's not like if Warden Wolf was missing a kidney, Ralph would all of a sudden lose a kidney.
Right. So I don't know.
It's based on physical. Yeah, like the voice thing was. I think you can just be left to assume that they played a voice clip.
Yeah.
You know, when they were showing the photos, like there's a voice clip or something.
And speaking of that, yeah, they could have. I could buy that, I guess. But the thing is, when they're like acting like it was this miraculous thing that Ralph could go in and pretend to be, pretend to be the Thinker or DeVoe. Did they forget they have face changing technology? I mean, they've had it for like 2 years now. So
HR took it to the grave.
I guess. I mean, you would think that would have been somewhere there that they had access to it. I was like, okay, face changing stuff. We've already had it. Also, refresh my memory about the Weeper. Did he have access to the tears or did he absorb his powers? Could you tell? I couldn't tell if he was just using it through. Was he able to make it from his hands, or was it in a vial?
I don't know. It was in a vial. I know it was in a bottle or like a little vial thing.
Yeah.
They picked up the Weeper. That was the last time we saw him. Yeah. So where's the Weeper? He's just locked up in the next room or something. Who knows?
It's just so weird. But that was kind of cool. It was a nice tie-in, but I feel like it's been so long since we've seen that character. We probably needed to see him either absorb his powers or talk to him, because a lot of people, not just the people here in the chat, there's a lot of people on the forums and on Facebook that had no idea what that was. They were like, what was that thing that he put in her drink? So that was a little weird. So what do you think his end game is then? I mean, do you think he just really wants to absorb all these powers? And I mean,
is it really the Age of Enlightenment? And if it is, explain the Age of Enlightenment, because they've just mentioned it.
Yeah.
And we're just left to presume it's just about people being able to understand more.
Uh-huh.
Or like open up intelligence more, which could lead to those symbols. Like those symbols could not be Speed Force symbols. They could be, I think we said in another stream, like they could be a future language which is like either connected to the Age of Enlightenment or they are the representation of the Age of Enlightenment.
Yeah.
Which would be confusing as hell if they went down that route.
Overlord says, why would he need to change form? He's drugging his wife into loving him. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, so like they sort of need to explain it soon. Like if it's not explained by episode 16, then it's a bit concerning.
Yeah.
Because we already know there's some other stuff going on. Oh god, episode 16 is the one where Iris gets speed.
We're going to talk about that in a second. She had an interview with Marie Claire magazine, however you want to pronounce it, where she made a comment about it that makes me think it's actually going to be her. I mean, our Iris. Well, why did Harry need to leave? I don't know. I mean, they explained where he was, and usually that's enough for me.
Yeah.
I mean,
it makes sense. He's from Earth too, so
yeah. I mean, it wasn't like they said. It wasn't like he just went completely missing, which would have bothered me even more. Braden, yeah, you should give The Flash a go. It's not horrible. Like I don't feel like there's a lot worse stuff you could be watching. I just feel like, it is what it is. But let's talk about Caitlin and Killer Frost real quick, because I do want to get that out of the way before I forget about it. So I went back and I've been watching. The Savitar season with Killer Frost, and it doesn't seem to me like they're split personalities. It does seem to me like Caitlyn is evil when she is Killer Frost, and that's not explained. But I don't feel like they're two different people. I feel like that's something they came up with this year for the show.
Yeah. It seems like they are one. It's just that it's just basically when has adrenaline, she's Killer Frost.
Right. Which I was okay with. And that maybe there was something psychologically that made her evil or whatever. But then in tonight's episode, she has this heart-to-heart with Ralph. And I was like, if I was a fan of Killer Frost and Caitlyn, I would be so mad at the show right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if that was my main character, I don't have a problem with her. I love, Danielle and the Caitlyn and Killer Frost, and I agree that she's been sort of pushed to the side this season. But if she was like my main reason, because everybody has their favorite on the show when they watch it. If I was like a diehard fan of hers and that was my character that I tuned in for, I would be so angry about the way they're handling her character, because what happened in tonight's episode was just like, is this really like, why did she have to be Killer Frost? First of all, it was cool to see that, but that didn't really make much sense either. How did she know that she was going to turn into Killer Frost and Killer Frost was going to do a heart to heart with because they don't share those memories apparently. So it's like Caitlyn goes to sleep, Killer Frost wakes up, vice versa. It's not like you're storing your memories in a backup hard drive and she can just download them whenever she wants. So I was just like, what is this? And I've got several people on Twitter that follow me that are huge fans of Caitlyn and Killer Frost, and they've been very upset about the season. And every time I see them, I read what they're saying, and they say the same thing. That she's just not being used properly. And tonight was included Amunet, and I thought about this as well. Caitlyn escaped from Amunet, right? She got out of that. What's to say that being bought by Amunet would have been like the worst case scenario? It seems to me like it was more dangerous where they were than being with her, because then they had the opportunity to get away. They weren't in prison, and Team Flash is capable of tracking down Amunet Black. So I don't know. Amunet is one person with powers, and they've yet to do anything significant. Like, she hasn't used her powers to really do anything. They've always, like, she missed Ralph tonight, and he was like not even 10 feet away from her. So
yeah, and they changed her powers from the comics as well, so she's already depowered down a bit.
So
and then
I'm so disappointed.
Use her abilities,
and that accent, why did Katie Sackhoff decide to make her sound like that? It takes me out of the moment every single time. Yeah, Michael Davis. Let me talk about that when we got a bunch of people in here. And then I got a couple other things I want to speak about, and then we'll just do some Q&A with you guys. YouTube has changed yet again, and Paigey and I talked about this earlier. I tweeted about it. In certain people, this is not everybody. If you go to your subscription inbox, there's a little tab that either says, in order of chronological order, or highlights. If you have it set to highlights, you're not going to get updates for live streams and regular videos, because YouTube is trying something different, and I don't know why they're doing it. This isn't Instagram, this isn't Snapchat, this isn't Facebook, but apparently now there's a highlights feature. Why anybody would want that on YouTube, I don't know, but it's there. So make sure you check your channels and make sure it's the right way, set up the right way. And it says, Dr. Cringe, thank you for the $2 super chat. Did it bother anyone else about Marlies? Are you talking about the last scene where she was drugged by the Weeper Tears? Because I have a feeling that is what you're talking about. And why is the chat frozen? Am I scrolling all the way down? Is YouTube screwed up?
Wouldn't surprise
There
me.
we go. Yeah, it's moving. What in the world was that? Yeah, I always get notifications 20, 30 minutes after you start. Yeah, that happens. But yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about Marlies at the end. So, yes, it's not frozen. It's just weird because typically it doesn't just like stop like that. Usually if I ask a question at the end, yeah, it did bother me. Particularly because I have to get PC here, I guess, and talk about current events. Andrew Kreisberg was removed from the shows because of inappropriate conduct at work, right? So why are we drugging a woman on a show that it's so strange to me that they think it's appropriate to use it as stories on the show, but they don't think it's appropriate in real life. It's like, don't do it at all. Don't do it at all. That's just the way I feel about it. But they're using it as a
be sitting there thinking, oh, and you thought I was the bad executive producer.
Yeah, I mean it's so weird. Yeah, Let's see, Dr. Cringe. They did the entire episode. I don't know. I kind of like that she's having a change of heart. I think she's one of the more interesting characters because she's not the big bad, but I actually think she's more important than DeVoe is because he's only getting access to all of this because she's making it for him. So she does feel responsibility for what she's doing. Let's see. I don't think Marley's that good right now. They've done things with the character. I just don't like it for some reason. Yeah, that makes sense. DeVoe just steal metas from her and probably take her powers too. Oh, you mean from Aminette Black? Yeah, I guess, but her powers, if you think about them, and Paige just said, talked about this, I don't know if she can control everything because it seems like she has that one bucket of stuff that she makes a gauntlet with, and that's all she really uses. Maybe I don't know. Her powers are kind of like not that great, to be honest. Her face when Ralph showed up in the courtroom. Well, Gary, it was almost like love. Like, I felt like that was like, oh my God, that's my husband, Like, all this other stuff that's going on is freaking her out. And I can totally understand that. Barry said he wanted to get out legally, but they would have had to steal DeVoe's body. Yeah, he didn't really get out legally, to be completely honest. Did you think about that too, Paigey? Like, he said, I want to do this the right way. And then they...
Yeah, my issue was, it's like, well, now that Ralph's impersonated DeVoe, wouldn't people just expect DeVoe to go back to his day-to-day life?
Yeah, because then they'll be like, oh, he showed up in court to tell us he's alive, and now he's gone. Because Ralph can't go and teach physics. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to happen. Let's see. Still can't believe Andrew and whoever played Chloe in Smallville fame must be getting into their heads. Yeah, that's true, Michael. Chloe's Twitter was kind of interesting. If you go and you read her Twitter, she'll post like pictures of like dogs and stuff, and people will like drag her in the comments underneath of it. Why are you not answering any of these accusations and blah blah blah? It's really interesting. Prison Break season review. This is probably going to make you very sad. I've never watched all of Prison Break. I've only seen select episodes of it. But I did like what I saw. So, I mean, I technically could do a review. I could watch it and give you guys my thoughts on it. Do you think Aminette Black will play a role in helping DeVoe later in the season or help take DeVoe down with Team Flash? I think she's going to disappear into nothingness. I think she's a character that will be there this season, and then once Caitlin's story is done, she'll probably vanish. Do you see her going on to next season? I don't think so. Paigey, what do you think?
Oh no, I mean, no, it's just like she's relevant to this season. Like, there's relevant characters for the show, and then there's relevant for the season. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, when's Julian Albert coming back? And I'm like, why? Like, he was relevant to last season, but there's no need for him to come back this season. You could argue the same for Tracy Brand, but I've heard that she's meant to be coming back at the end of the season. They've already, I think the producers actually confirmed it like a couple of weeks ago. And she's like, they said it before the season started, and they reiterated it a couple of weeks ago that she's meant to still be coming back. So I don't know when that's going to be. I'm guessing to do with a cerebral inhibitor. That's my best guess. But
yeah, it says Junior Muckdog says DeVoe is a villain for a reason. He murders people, but I guess if you shouldn't do it in real life, then you shouldn't do it in a show. That's not really what I'm saying. Like, for example, there's a time and place for everything, and I've said this before, and I'm sure you've heard that before. For a show that has had such a hard time with misogyny and issues behind the scenes with people doing those kinds of things, I think it just comes off a little weird that that's such an important plot point of what's going on with Marlies. That's all I'm saying. It just seems a little weird to me. Particularly from a character who was in love with his wife. Yes, it is showing his break from, his humanity and things like that. But it's just not, like, if this would have happened last year, I would have been like, oh, okay, I get it. This year in particular, with everything that's going on, especially with them championing all these things, like, I just feel like it's weird they would use that as a plot point. Could you explain exactly what you don't like about Aminette's Black, her accent? Paigey, what is your take on her accent? So Shinigami, my problem is it doesn't sound real. I know people from the UK. I know people from that part of the world. And yeah, you could say that people have different accents, but hers is really strange. I've said it before about Lena doing an American accent. So it's not like I'm just picking on her individually. I've said this in several videos. If somebody can do an accent that sounds like legitimately like somebody from another part of the world, then it's fine. But I feel like Katie Sackhoff, what was the point? That character didn't have to be British. So I just thought it was a little weird they would do that unless they wanted her to be over the top. It's almost like a cliche British bad guy accent. I know we've probably heard that before, but you have these movies where you have a bad guy and of course they're British. And it's just weird that they would do that to me. It's just strange. What about you, Paige? I mean, you may not have a problem with it, but you've said you don't like when people try to sound like they're from like, Australia or New Zealand or whatever. So
yeah, like to be fair though, I think one of my friend's mum is from England, but she came to Australia like 35 years ago, like before she even had kids and got married and stuff. And she sort of sounds like Aminet when she's like laughing.
Right.
Like laughing and talking, if that makes sense. Like excited talking. She sounds like that, but she would never sound like that normally talking. So unless it's just like Aminet's got a screw loose and is a bit psycho, that's just she's speaking like a psycho all the time.
Right.
But then again, as I said, that's like a mixture of English and like being in Australia for 35 years, and I doubt that's what Katie Sackhoff is going for. Doubt like when they're going, okay, what accent are you going for? Oh, English lady that's been living in Australia for 35 years. I doubt that's what she wrote down in regards to what accent she was going for.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Sam says Becky Sharp's voice is over the top. You just mean in general?
I think she's just like mousy.
Yeah, yeah. I actually liked her in this episode, though. I thought she was. I mean, maybe that was the whole point, because she gets to the point where she's like, "Help me," and then Barry can't help her. I'm like, "That's dark. That is not a lighter tone. That's really dark." Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Dr. Cringe, how long ago did I send that super chat? I don't know. Like, maybe we've only been live for 15 minutes. So it's about 15 minutes or so.
10, 15 minutes.
Let's see. We're just going through the comments here. Benefit of DeVoe switching bodies into Becky. I don't know. Yeah, that's true. I mean, why would he took all their power, so he didn't really have to pick Becky's body as the one. But he did say something about luck be a lady or something when he left. Like, didn't he say that when he left Marlies to go to the prison? I have a date with a lady or lucky lady or something along those lines. Like, I think he wanted that body specifically. Why? I don't know.
Yeah, cover what he said, but yeah.
It says, since Tracy is gone, do you think Marlies is going to make the Cerebro inhibitor and take down DeVoe? That is a really cool theory. Actually, I didn't think about that. But that's possible. I didn't even think about that. Had you heard anything about that at all, Paigey, about maybe the mechanic builds the tech to stop him? Because that would be redemption, honestly.
Yeah, because she would have, obviously she's the one building all this tech for him.
Right.
So you think if she's able to build something that helps him out, she would easily be able to build something that counters what's helping him out. But as I said, they said that Tracy's coming back, so I don't know if that would, unless they decide, hey, why get another character and we can just use a character we already have and give her an interesting storyline in the meantime as well, or in the process.
I feel weird about DeVoe being Becky now. Yeah. I also think it's kind of weird that they waited until she was Becky to drug his wife. It's kind of strange.
I don't know why she looks like Aminet. I don't know why they did her hair to make it look like Aminet Black. And even the clothes she's wearing, it's really... That's why I thought Aminet died and they took her. Like, they took her, like, consciousness to give Becky a bit of fashion sense. I was like, okay, what the...
Legato says, what are your thoughts on Barry saying he was lost in time? So there was a little bit of, like, there was a really nasty, rude comment about that on my video before, because we had talked about it last week, and I said, I heard him say it in last week's episode, and I'm like, maybe he said it a couple times before, but I just picked up on it, and I did say that in my live stream. I'm like, maybe it was the first time, maybe it wasn't, I don't know. I said, but my point is that he says lost in time, which is, made me wonder if maybe he was time traveling instead of just in the Speed Force. He just doesn't remember it. And somebody was like, oh, no, he's been saying that forever. And I'm like, forever? You mean like this season? Okay. That's not really forever, but it doesn't change. It doesn't change my thoughts on it just because I wasn't correct about when he actually said it, which I did say I wasn't sure. But I was like, yeah, saying Lost in Time, like I said last week when we spoke about it, I feel like maybe it's possible he did go to the future and he just doesn't remember. Maybe he went to the future and spoke to Dawn Allen, and maybe that's why she's back to help him, and he just doesn't remember doing it. There's a lot of options for that, but we'll have to wait and see. That dance between Becky Sharp and the mechanic was so weird. Oh, I guess. I think it was meant to be disturbing. I think that was kind of what they were going for.
I think the whole thing was meant to be sort of off-putting, just like, what the hell is going on here?
Oh, Roborus says, I think the Thinker probably knew Becky's body would draw the most emotional grief from Barry. That is twisted and dark and probably true. Shinigami, perhaps when DeVoe takes powers from others, if he's not their actual body, their powers are not as strong as they would be, so he chose Becky's body because he needs her power for something large. Well, he did say Becky is the most powerful metahuman on that bus. He said that. We haven't met all of them yet. But I can only imagine, if your power is generating luck for yourself, you are pretty much unstoppable. So we saw how much trouble Barry had dealing with her. So, yeah. Could there be an anti-metahuman metahuman? There have been characters like that before, so I mean, yeah, there could be. Let's see. Marlies and Tracy together. I don't know if Tracy's coming back or not, to be honest. I would say probably at this time, this late in the season, maybe not. Okay, so we got about 5 or 6 minutes left before we go, but I do want to talk about something here, or a couple things, actually. Today, I did my interview with Matt Lesher, who plays Eobard Thawne on the series. You guys are familiar with him. I was very excited to talk with him. It's a 30-minute interview with discussing film. I'm kind of working with those guys now to do interviews for DCTV stuff. I did Quentin Lance with them. I did Matt Lesher today. And again, I talked about this before. We have 2 other interviews lined up, one with somebody from Arrow and one with somebody from Black Lightning. I'm very excited. The interview should be out on Thursday, possibly. But I can talk about one thing that he said that kind of makes me sad. So as you guys may or may not know, Matt Lesher has been cast on Narcos, which is a Netflix show. They're filming in Mexico, and he's been filming since the beginning of January, and he confirmed that he is still filming right now. So he's still there filming that show. And he also confirmed that he is not going to be playing the Reverse Flash this season. So he was in Vancouver, but he wasn't there filming. So he's not going to be on the show this season as Reverse Flash. It doesn't mean that Tom can't come back as Reverse Flash because he's already there. So unfortunately, no Reverse Flash this season with that, Matt Lesher's, his version of it. But he did say that he's always open to come back, and, so there's that. But the interview has a lot of questions. We talk about Legion of Doom stuff. We talk a little bit about his Narcos series. We talk about the DCEU. We have a conversation about Justice League movie. So there's that. He puts me on the hot seat. So I'm like, I need to watch out what I'm saying here, because if I say anything, the blogs love to pick up those things and go with them, and somebody will go straight to that video and come back and try and drag me for anything I say. So I tried to be very careful about what I said. But that interview will be out Thursday. I'll link you guys on Twitter, and I'll talk about it here probably on Monday, maybe, depending if everything goes as planned. But I will be working with Discussing Film, and I'm going to be doing interviews at conventions for them. So everything seems to be moving in a good direction with those guys. Plus, they're pretty reliable. I think Paigey agrees that those guys they don't try to clickbait people. So it's a pretty good page. You
don't have to click a link to get the information.
Right. If they can fit it in a tweet, they'll put it out in a tweet. So it's really simple. But Matt Lesher was awesome. And like I said, I did an interview with Paul Blackthorne, who plays Quentin Lance, with those guys. That's also on their Discussing Film channel on YouTube. If you guys are interested in any of that, you can let me know on Twitter, and I will send you guys over. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. And I Oh, the other thing, the 4-show crossover. How can I forget this? This Saturday I believe we agreed on this Saturday, didn't we, Paigey? That was the day we agreed on.
Yeah,
Saturday.
It's Sunday morning my time.
Okay,
same thing.
So
Yeah.
so Saturday my time, New York City time, it's going to be 3 p.m. in the afternoon, which is 8 p.m. GMT, which is what time for you in Australia?
I think 4 a.m.
4 a.m. That's awful early for Australia. But it's going to be me, Paigey, Ben, and Boba. We're going to be doing our 4-channel crossover. If you guys have any questions for that crossover and you've watched this back on playback or whatever, leave it in the comments for this video, and I'll bring it up again between now and Friday so you guys will know. And I'm pretty sure we'll all say something about it the day of, the morning of and whatnot. But we're going to be talking about the return of Legends of Tomorrow. So that's going to be fun. I'm excited about that coming back. What do you think, Paigey?
And you also forgot to... Yeah, I'm excited for it, but also we'll talk about Legends in a second. And we're going to drag Ben about Supergirl.
Oh, yes. We're going to drag Ben about Supergirl. Ben, if anybody's a fan of DCTV show in here, let Ben know we're coming for him on Saturday. But, yeah.
We've got pitchforks with Monel's name on them.
Go and watch his review for this episode of Supergirl and listen particularly for Monel. Particularly for something related to Monel. Because I think Monel he's, I don't know. I used to really enjoy that character as an individual character. I don't know what's going on this season, though. I don't know. But yeah, so... Paigey, an important question for you from Gary. Important. Answer that one.
How's the puppy? The puppy is good. He was... Actually, no, he was being bad before I jumped on this stream. And then he calmed down. He was going psycho. But yeah, I think he should be still. I can't hear him, so he must be sleeping.
So, who is Malice on Legends? That is a big question. I'm excited for that coming back. I think...
Well, we made him. We're meeting him on Monday.
Yeah.
Or Tuesday, maybe, but Monday.
I am Malice. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun.
I'm interested to see what hopefully... I'm hoping he's just like a shadowy figure, and then we learn in the episodes... I think there's 18 episodes of Legends this season, so... Then those remaining episodes we meet his actual form and stuff.
Sam, you know how to get to me there. $2 on Super Chat. Interview with Arrow, someone of new or old team. Let's just say, because I can't reveal the name, so you're not getting the name from me. I'm not going to confirm yes or no for this. But let's just say it is someone who's been on the show since the first season, since the very first episode. So you can.
I'll write the first letter of the name in the chat.
Paigey already knows who it is. It's R. Oh man, no, it's no. I can confirm it's not Felicity. It is not Emily Bett, but it is somebody from the first season. It's not Stephen Amell. We don't have Stephen Amell yet, but we're working on some stuff. Malice is Quentin Lance, really? The bad guy saying, "I am Mouse." Yeah, could be. So everybody's going crazy over it. It's going to be so much fun. I can tell you right now, I'm very excited about talking to this person. From Arrow, and I'm very excited about Black Lightning. Black Lightning is probably going to be the biggest person that I've spoken to in terms of their ranking in the show cast. So I am, I'm what the hell? Yeah, so that's that. I think we've covered just about everything, unless some people had some more pressing questions. Said Roy Harper. Was Roy Harper in season 1?
Yeah,
the very end. That's right. He was with the Thea thing at the end of season 1. Yeah. So I remember.
Yeah,
that.
he robbed Thea's purse and then they went out.
Yeah, that's right.
That's one way to. What a pickup line.
I remember that he had a major story arc in season 2, but yeah, the end of season 1. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. James Remar. Nope. You guys are going to be really surprised, and there's going to be a huge group of people that are extremely happy about that interview if everything works out. So
some poppin' people will be poppin' jealous.
David Ramsey, nope. But I will be. I'm planning on also going to when I do more conventions through discussing film. I'm going to getting press passes, and hopefully it'll work out better than it did for me because as an individual person on YouTube with not a huge amount of subscribers. I mean, I appreciate every single one of you guys, but when they look at like subscribers, they're looking for like hundreds of thousands of people. Like Paige here, they go to the interviews. They want to give them like access to those things. For me, they give me scraps. So I'm very happy that discussing film is going to be working with me. A supernatural rant, Brad. A supernatural rant. I have to see this week's episode. If you want me to rant, talk to me about the episode that was basically like a backdoor pilot for another series. Because I hate those. And this is the second time they've done it on that show. Look, dummy, that's not an R. That's not an R. I don't know who he's speaking to, but I love the fact that he just typed out dummy. No context at all. Wilson, you win the day. So yes, this is the thing, and I was talking about this earlier. When we do the interviews, we typically ask for questions. As soon as I know who for sure we're going to be getting, because we're trying for one person, maybe another, I will tweet out and say, this is the person I'll be talking to. No. I'll give a name, Sam. When we have it nailed down, I'll give the name. And then you guys can just let me know, So yeah, the other League of Assassin villain showing up. Who was that? Okay, I saw the article, and now I feel really bad because I don't remember her name. What was the actress's name? Do you remember, Paigey?
Oh, it's like she's Russian or something, like Skrokovsky or something. I can look it up quickly. Green Arrow TV. Kyra Zagorski.
Okay, and
Zagorski.
And they're not giving the name of the character she's playing, though, right?
Oh,
I love that show Helix, but didn't Helix get canceled? That was such a good show.
Yeah, her name's Athena.
Athena, okay.
A former League of Assassins member with a Merlin associated agenda, because Malcolm Merlin was like leader or commander. Right. I think she like had joined the League of Assassins when he was Raish. Or she went up in the League of Assassins.
What would be her reason for coming back to the show, though?
Well, he didn't. It's like no one killed him. He sacrificed himself to save Thea.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, like, is there a story arc that they're planning? Like, they're still focused on this Caden James thing. Is this going to tie into maybe Ricardo Diaz having a tie-in with the?
I think it's. Yeah, I think it might be tied to Richard Dragon.
Oh, that would be really cool. That would be really cool. Yeah, I knew Nissa was coming back.
Everyone. Yeah, I've got something funny planned for my Arrow video this week, which people probably find funny.
You're going to trigger people, and then you're going to have people in the comments telling you, Paigey, stop giving your opinion. Just give us facts and information. No opinions whatsoever.
Sure, no one really would have seen that. Yeah, someone had to go at me for actually stating whether I like something or not. So don't state your opinion. You're not allowed to do that.
It was something to do with Malcolm's legacy. That's interesting because how is that going to fit in? I still think that Malcolm's legacy is going to tie into Ricardo Diaz. I don't know. Maybe that's me wishing too much, but I just have a feeling that's what's going to happen. Look, Milk Dud says R. R is the 18th letter of the alphabet. 18 subtract 7 equals 11. Manu Bennett is 11 letters. Manu Bennett confirmed. I would love to interview Manu Bennett, actually. Ratings for this week's Flash. I haven't checked the most recent ones. I usually wait like 24 hours to check.
They're usually not out until the next morning anyway.
Yeah. But last week was a beast. 2.6 million, 2.60 million. That was...
Might be able to tell what Supergirl's ratings were for yesterday.
She is
what
here
was
to
What was Supergirl's last week's? Do you know roughly what they were?
Supergirl last week was 2.21.
2.21. Supergirl got 2.12.
So it's roughly in the same area. Usually a minor change like that isn't too much unless you're really low. Like Arrow going from 1.34 to 1.24, that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Closer they get to that 1 million is not good for a show that was drawing in 4 and 5 million at one point. The Black Lightning interview is Krondon, aka Tobias Whale, right? Ben, even bigger than Tobias. Although I have to say he was a beast in tonight's episode. I'll talk about that in my review.
Have you watched Cloverfield Paradox yet?
Yes. How many people have watched that? I don't want to get any spoilers away. If you don't want to be spoiled on Cloverfield Paradox, you might want to cover your ears. What were you going to say about it, by the way? I've seen all the other ones.
I was just wondering if you'd seen it yet. Like, I liked it, but I was sort of disappointed by it at the same time.
Okay, so again, we're only going to talk about this for a second. Cloverfield Paradox, all right? They said it was supposed to tie in. It was supposed to tie in the other two movies.
I thought the execution wasn't that great, though.
Right. Okay. So we'll get. Yeah. Okay. So in that terms, I love multiverse stuff, and I've said this on so many different things, even more than time travel. I love multiverse. So the idea of two parallel universes, being there was very cool to me. We've seen it, so many times. This isn't really a spoiler, by the way, guys, because they talk about this in like the first 10 minutes of the movie. But I feel like they could have been a bit tighter in doing it, because there was a lot of things where I was like, okay, that's cool. But then some of it was like, what? Like, it didn't make much sense. And it was supposed to tie in the other two movies, and I don't think it did a good job of that either. To be honest, the second film, what was it? 13 Cloverfield Lane, I believe is the name of the second one.
10 Cloverfield
Something,
Lane?
24 Cloverfield Lane. I don't know. That movie, I thought, I really liked that movie. That one was very different from the first one. And I thought, okay, so it's going to be like an anthology series where they're going to do like different films all the time. I kind of wish Netflix would have not advertised it as being the tie-in between the two movies. I kind of wish they would have just said, here's Cloverfield Paradox. It's in that universe. Enjoy it. I think then it would have been different.
The thing with Cloverfield Lane is that it's just like, here's Cloverfield Lane. They didn't go on about it being like all its connections to the first one. It's just that it had Cloverfield in the title, so you're just left to assume like, okay, it's the sequel to Cloverfield, which I think helped the movie. But even though this was only advertised like, was it like 2 hours before it went live? I think like an hour and a half or something.
It's one of those things where I'm like, it's a decent sci-fi movie, but I don't see it as being like as big as it. Like, I understand why they sent it to Netflix. Like, I understand why this didn't come out in theaters.
It was made. It was going to go in theaters, and then they changed it to Netflix.
Yeah, and I think that was a smart thing, because J.J. Abrams has actually filmed the fourth one already. Apparently, the fourth one is already done, and they're releasing that one like within the next year, I think. So they wanted to get this out or whatever, and I'm like, oh, okay. So this goes. Purple Rants goes, I was shocked that the latest Cloverfield was bad. J.J. is either not passionate about it or losing his touch. I think they realized when they were making it that it wasn't gonna do it wasn't what they wanted it to be. So I think that's why they stuck it on Netflix. And no, it is not Ben. Ben is throwing out all these names. You have not said who it is yet for Black Lightning. Michael Rosenbaum. Michael Rosenbaum, I met him at DragonCon. We had a long conversation. He told me about his podcast, which is really cool the way he's got that set up. If you guys haven't watched it yet, it's on YouTube. It's actually really good. But he would be difficult to interview because the guy is so completely funny and crazy. And like, I can't imagine having like a conversation with him that wasn't just him being silly. So it would be fun to have a chat with him. But yeah. So what about Krypton? What about Krypton, Paigey? What about it? How do you feel about that show?
How bad it looks?
Why do I always see people?
I can't see myself getting invested in it. I think it looks just like Inhumans. The costumes look. I could be surprised. Like, I'm not expecting it. Like, it could be good, but not great.
Right.
It could be watchable. But I'm looking at it and I'm like, I can't see this show getting season 2. I think it's going to be one of those shows that's just on for a season, and then Sci-Fi will just get rid of it.
Sci-Fi is not very confident in their properties. I think unless you're Stargate or Battlestar Galactica, you're usually not safe on that channel. The Lois Lane spinoff, don't even get me started on that one. That's...
I mean, the most unnecessary series of all time.
Yeah. I mean, like, honestly, they want to draw people into their streaming service. a Lois Lane spinoff is not something that jumps out at me as like I have to go get this streaming service. You know,
we don't need another Superman. If you get a Krypton and whatever it's Metropolis or whatever they're calling the Lois Lane thing, watch Smallville and you get all of that.
Yeah,
they go through all the Krypton's history and then they do Lois Lane's crap as well, along with Clark and Lex. They do all of it in Smallville. I think it's much more entertaining to watch.
How much do I like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Finn, you're human. Like Paige, you said, I'm a shill for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, I love that show so much.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., yes. This particular story arc, the one they just had, like this first one that just ended this past week, is legitimately some of the best science fiction TV I've ever seen. It's so good. So good. They're not perfect, but they just were like, we're probably going to get canceled, so we're going to do anything we want to do. And their ratings have been higher on Fridays than like any other show in its time slot on Fridays. So I think it's a sure bet that if they hold those numbers for the rest of the season, they're definitely going to get picked back up for Fridays probably. They canceled Dark Matter. Exactly, Willie. Dark Matter was one of my favorite shows. I'm not going to go off on it. Just saying. Krypton will probably be one season. I think it's really expensive to film too, because aren't they filming like overseas, like in some weird remote location? I heard I think they said they were filming in like the outskirts of Scotland or something. Like it's apparently really expensive where they're filming at. So
who knows?
Look, Ben is
even just the set design. I think there'd be a lot.
Ben says plot twist: Krypton doesn't actually blow up and it's an alternate universe. Yeah, the thing that really made me upset about it, and most people are like, "Oh, that's so intriguing," is that they come back to tell Superman's, is it his grandfather or great-grandfather? Okay.
Grandfather.
That his son is going to become like this beacon of hope for the universe or whatever. And that he has to somehow do something. And it's like, it's Krypton. They're basically humans. On their planet, they're the same as you and me. They don't have any special powers. So...
Yeah, from what I understand is Adam Strange comes back with Superman's cape. Don't you think Superman might need that? But yeah, comes back with it and tells them that there's a threat coming back. That's one of Superman's greatest enemies, that he's trying to destroy Krypton before Superman's even born. So hence in the future, there's no Superman. That's what I could get from the trailer, or from the one trailer I've watched. As I said, little interest in the show, so I haven't really been watching the trailers.
How many episodes is Krypton going to be? Sci-Fi usually does like short runs. Yeah.
I think it's 10. It could be 8, but I think it's 10.
Yeah, they stopped doing the 23 episode seasons a long time ago. So.
And I think, if the show already looks like it's expensive to make anyway, so I don't think
expensive in set and cheap in costume. Like expensive in set design and cheap in costume. So.
But yeah, it looks like the villain's Brainiac as well, because you see like a ship going, and it's unless they've just put another villain in there and given them a ship that looks like Brainiac's ship, then you think it'd have to be Brainiac that's going to be the villain, and God knows what he's going to look like either.
Brad says, would a human on Krypton have superpowers? That is a great question, and I would like to believe it's absolutely true. So we can all go to Krypton and be Superman. When is the Arrow interview around that? Just so you know, I have to jump in and question thing you tweet. The Arrow interview will be something I probably won't know about for another week or so. So sometime next week, I'll probably know for sure. Yeah, Ragu says it's 10 episodes only for season 1. Yeah, usually they start off with a short season just to see how people, feel about it, and then they might give it more later on. But
10 episodes for season 1, 10 episodes for the whole series.
Any new powers you think Barry will discover before the season ends? Oh, I was going to talk about that, about Iris, by the way. I never went back on that, never talked about that. I don't know if Barry's going to discover any new powers at this point. I feel like they said he was, but we're a good chunk of the way through the season. So unless they introduce something really, really, really exciting in the next few episodes, I don't know. I have no idea. I would love to see him do something different, though. Let's see. Talking about Iris, Candace Patton did an interview with Marie Claire magazine, and they asked her a bunch of like silly questions about, in my opinion, silly. No offense if people find them not silly or whatever. What Iris has for breakfast. What kind of outfits does she like to wear? what is Iris's favorite color? I mean, just stuff like that. But they did ask her a question about what she enjoys the most, and she said she enjoys doing action scenes the most, which is kind of odd because most actors, unless they are action stars, rarely say they enjoy action scenes the most. So it's kind of weird that she said that, but she did say that. And then she said, yes, and Iris West Allen is going to be suiting up this season in leather. And when I heard that, I was like, Iris West Allen. So is this confirming that it's her Iris?
Yeah, one of the rumors that's come up in the past couple of days is that there's more speculation about Barry being the Flash. So he gives her a power. Oh, it's so stupid. Okay, he gives her powers. Like in the comics, it happens, and like they're saying it's going to be another ability that Barry taps into. But it's like there's new abilities, and then there's just like stuff that's just relevant to the plot, just to move things forward. And then another rumor is that it's just Iris is suiting up without powers in order to divert attention. And I'm just like, that's stupid, because that's like putting a big bullseye on yourself and saying, hey, metahuman with powers, kill me.
And if you really needed another speedster at this point in time, couldn't they just get Wally? I mean, he's not on Legends. Yeah, I mean, there's
Jay. Yeah. Jesse, but and to put this in reference, Jesse and Jay are both appearing in the previous episode 15.
Right, so she would have no reason to pretend to be a speedster, basically.
Yeah, they would have a speedster there. So I've always said Iris is a broken character, and they won't fix her, because I think they're scared if they try to fix her, the people that are obsessed with her will get angry. It's like with Felicity when they tried to change Felicity up in last season, which I think was for the better. You know, when they gave Felicity a storyline, like with Helix and stuff.
Yeah,
you know that thing that she'd never had before. They gave her a storyline, and people were blowing up about that. Like the Felicity people were getting angry about that.
But see, that I thought that her storyline with Helix was more interesting than most of the other stuff she's ever done.
Yeah, I thought Felicity was fine last season. There was nothing that really annoyed me about the character. And even this season, I think she's been fine apart from the crossover. Crossover, she was probably the worst character in the crossover.
Dr. Chris says, thought it was only supposed to go another 5 more minutes. I usually say that, and then it's another 20. That's typically the way it goes. For me, 5 is 20, but we go off on tangents and stuff. But yeah, the Iris West thing, if she is going to be a speedster, I hope that they don't go... This is my biggest fear, okay, guys? And I'm going to put this out there now, just in case it happens. Caitlin's sitting at her desk. Iris walks in. Her hand starts vibrating. What in the world's going on? Oh my God. Come sit on the table, Iris. I'm Caitlin.
And don't say what I think you're going to say.
They've given me 5 lines in this episode. Oh my goodness. Your powers are emerging because you're pregnant and you were hit by dark matter. So now you have speedster powers while you're pregnant. If that happens, I'm going to flip a table and I'll record it.
Oh, it'll be a new meme. We've already got We Are the Flashes in meme, and now it's going to be...
I just like, oh gosh, she's pregnant, so now she has powers. I feel like they're setting that up because of what happened with Cecile. Because...
Yeah. And like, that's... Yeah, I don't know. It's so stupid. Like, the only way I won't really... Like, I have a feeling, because we've only seen one scene of her outside, I have a feeling it's literally going to be for 5 minutes that she's a speedster.
Yeah. But she's gonna have a costume though. Like, where's the costume come from?
Yeah, that's why I'm sort of confused. Like, even if she's for the whole of one episode, that still doesn't warrant a costume. Like, does Cisco like? Oh yes, expert tailor and makes this costume. People have been saying, oh, no, it's just a jacket and pants, and I was like, no, it's like heel boots, which we've seen Jesse Quick wear, like speedster boots, if you want to call that, like proper like leather pants like that have been made for that, and a jacket which is obviously made, and a mask. So it's not just... Oh God.
Colin Prime says, I think it's dumb to have Iris pregnant this early in the life of the series. It's true, but it could happen.
Yeah, because we have to deal with a baby. It's so dangerous dealing with a baby.
Nick says Cisco just has a costume ready for everyone. It feels that way, doesn't it? I mean, at first with Barry's first costume, it was like a prototype firefighting costume, and now it's like costumes for everybody.
I'm really hoping it's someone from the multiverse who is just another West Allen. I'm really hoping that's what it is.
So it says multiverse question. Why isn't there a Supergirl on Earth 1 or a Barry Arrow on Earth 3? See, I think there may be a... I don't know about Supergirl because she is a Kryptonian, so I don't know for sure how that would work. But there could be a Barry and Oliver on Earth 38, but they just aren't metahuman. Or Barry isn't a metahuman, normal. He isn't a vigilante. Right.
Just like how Barry's on Earth 2. He's just CSI-ed.
So let's see. Mike Horan, are we getting a 2-part episode arc this season? Thank you for the super chat, Mike. And the answer to that is, I don't know. Usually they have them by now. They've already happened, or at least we've seen.
Usually today's episode would have been the first part.
Right.
Episode 13 is the first part. Episode 14 is the second.
I don't think we're going to get one this year. I don't, unless it's the flashback or flash family
unless
episode.
It's 15 and 16.
Yeah.
Unless it's 15 and 16 or 14 and 15. Well, actually 15 and 16.
Yeah.
Because that's when Jay Garrick's showing up. And then Iris is a speedster in 16. So that could be the 2-episode arc.
Yeah.
But the villain for episode 16 is lame. It's like some dude that can control fire or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. Because they talked about the guy from Glee, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, it's a bit of a... That'd be a pretty easy villain to take down, I think.
Excuse me. Kyle says Jesse gave her powers to Iris. That would make more sense than her being pregnant. Let's see. Thank you for the super chat, Mike, by the way. Krypton didn't explode on Earth 1. That's always a possibility. I read that Gypsy and Breacher will be back later. That's funny you mentioned that, Milk Duds. I completely forgot that Breacher was even a thing. I mean...
Yeah, Breacher's back in 17. They confirmed that actually like a month and a half ago, maybe. Yeah. I can't remember who said it. I think it might have been Danny Trejo. I think someone asked me, it's like, oh, you come back to Flash after your first one appearance? It's like, oh, yeah, later this season. But he didn't say when. And
Solo,
thanks to Kevin Smith.
Solo and Jurassic World trailer. Solo was pretty... I mean, I'm not a huge Han... Well, I will say I'm not a huge Han Solo fan. I like him as a character, but I'm not... Like, I have other favorites, so it was okay. I'll probably still see it, because it's Star Wars. Jurassic World trailer looked pretty good. I liked the first movie, and I typically... Just like with Star Wars, I go and see all of them. So, I mean, they were okay. I mean, I'm going to go see them anyway. So whether we got a trailer or not, that's why I don't get too hyped for trailers like that, because I'm going to see them anyway. So I don't usually care too much.
It's like, even with the Infinity War one, like the first one, like obviously it's going to hit you hyped up, but I thought the TV spot was just like, they showed like a couple.
They're trying so hard to not tell us anything that it's hard to do a trailer.
I think it's because they will release one more trailer in probably like a month.
Yeah,
maybe a month.
The push right before the couple. Yeah, because the movie comes out in 4 months, so like another month or so after Black Panther comes out, they'll probably push hard out. So,
like I think someone said A Wrinkle in Time comes out in like March or April.
That's probably when we'll see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, could Breacher and Gypsy the Gorilla Grodd 2-part was trash. I'm not going to argue. I think I did complain a lot about that last year.
I wouldn't say it was trash. Like, trash is a strong word.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that it was ambitious, and they didn't necessarily nail all of it. It was so expensive. That was such an expensive 2-part episode. I think the second half of it was much better than the first half of it, if I remember correctly. When the gorilla army attacks the city and you have Jesse and Wally and Barry going up against them. Who's a better big bad, the Thinker or Rain? I'm going to say Rain. I don't have a problem with the Thinker, but I think Samantha as Rain has been more compelling this season. The Thinker hasn't been around enough, really, and having Neil leave that character kind of took all that levity off of it. So,
yeah, I think the issue with the only thing that can hurt Rain is if the other world killers take away from her story.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel like the Thinker lost his steam when they changed actors? I think that's when it kind of fell apart for me.
Yeah, I think it's just people getting used to him, and it's just, or not used to him, but like invested in him, and then it just changed. And it's like, oh well, why? Why change?
Let's see. Harvester of Sorrow. What is your views on the Warden being killed? The Thinker not planning everything as originally thought. Did Eminette hear Barry's the Flash? I don't think she heard Barry's the Flash. I think that was kind of the writer's way of taking care of that. Like getting rid of everyone that heard that so they don't have to worry about it. So I don't think Eminette heard that. And as far as like the Thinker not planning everything originally thought, we talked about that earlier. You probably weren't here. But I did sort of have an issue with that. I think it was silly that he didn't plan that, because that's his meta power. So that's kind of strange. But yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. So, I hate Captain America's new arm shield in the new Black Panther movie. Well, Brad, I don't think he's going to have it for very long. I think it'll probably be, because we know, okay, there's going to be time travel in Infinity War, if you don't already know, if you haven't seen a million images from it or whatever. So I don't think he's going to have that shield the whole time. I think we'll see it a little bit, and then he'll go back to his classic shield, or a design like his classic one. So anyway, yes, a lot of people are tired. They're saying I'm sleepy. Can we please end the stream? Yes, absolutely we can. We've been live for an hour and a half, and so thank you guys so much for coming out. All the super chats, all the conversation. You guys are so awesome. Thank you so much. Do not forget, Saturday is going to be our 4-channel crossover. Somebody asked about how they can get involved with that. If you're interested in live streaming with me, just hit me up on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, anywhere, and let me know if you're interested, and maybe I'll go live one day and you can join me. That would probably be the easiest way to do it. And other than that, I'll be live on Thursday to talk about all the shows after we have an idea of their viewership numbers and stuff. We'll talk about that on Thursday, and we'll talk about Black Lightning and Arrow as well, because I'm really interested in seeing what's going on with that. Purple Rant, see you at DragonCon next year. Okay, well, I'll see you then. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Paigey, for joining me as usual for this chill stream, basically. And we will see you guys later. This will be up live for you to watch in a little bit. If you missed any of it, you can go back and check it out. All right. See you guys later. Take care.
Farewell.